From abandoned mining towns with no more gold to toxic cities with yellow streams of water, here are
10 mysterious ghost towns in the U.S.
But first, thanks Mafuz for leaving us this comment on our Alien-like Places video. That's basically what we here at American Eye try to present to you each and every day. Let us know in the comment section if you've been to any of these ghost towns and what it was like, and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Number 10. Kennecott, Alaska. Kennecott, Alaska was once a thriving copper mining area in the early 20th century. It was once a location where miners who worked on extracting copper from several different mines nearby would settle down. This ghost town is found in southeast Alaska on the Wrangell St. Eliot's National Park, so it certainly has a chance to stay around for a while. Despite it being on a preserve and a national park, the US really needed copper at the time, so they decided to make an exception for this case. Copper is crucial for electrical devices, and at peak production, this mine yielded in whopping $32.4 million worth of ore. Americans were quite effective in removing the ore, and in 1938, all the copper was gone. This left Kennecott as a ghost town since people no longer had a way to make a living. The trains just stopped coming here, and this was the end of the town of Kennecott, which housed a population of 127 people. The impressive mining architecture of this area still remains, and tourists still come here to visit the US's well-preserved ghost town. Today we have a special guest with us from Dynamite TV. He's going to explain to us about some mysterious ghost towns in the US.
Hello, I'm Dynamite TV, here to bring you an explosion of information about these crazy ghost towns.
Number 9. Bodie, California. This creepy abandoned town has been left like this for the past 150 years and was deserted by gold miners who lost all hope in striking it rich. A group of pioneers followed a pioneer named W.S. Bodie to head west in order to explore the Sierra Nevada mountain range. After a little bit of gold was found in 1859, this gold town was off to a pretty slow start.
Up until 1876, when a profitable ore deposit was discovered.
This brought the town to a respectable population of about 7,000 people. In 1879, there were roughly 2,000 buildings here, and it's possible that at one point it was actually California's second largest city. The bustling town began to decline when mining profits reached an all-time low, and people were still not used to the freezing climate during winter. The town's population decreased by 41% from 1880 to 1890, and in the 1920s, it finally became a ghost town, with only a few people clinging onto their property. Nowadays, it's one of the best preserved ghost towns, and is a popular place to photograph at night as well. Number 8. Rhyolite, Nevada.
Nevada is home to some of the best ghost towns on the planet.
Just outside Bodie, Nevada, Rhyolite had a population of 10,000 people at one point, which was quite a lot for a city out west at the time. At one point, it had a total of 50 saloons, 35 gambling tables, and even some brothels. They don't call it the Wild Wild West for nothing, folks. It definitely wasn't small by any means. It even had electricity from 1904 to 1907. Miners struck it rich from the hills outside the city. And it had a good infrastructure with post offices, many telephones, and even a newspaper. The town is named Rhyolite, after the type of rock which is found throughout the Amargosa River Valley. You can probably take a wild guess why this one was abandoned too. Once the mines were running out of gold and people ran off to search for more, the population finally reached zero in 1920. About 10 years after all the gold was seemingly gone. This photo here shows the Cook Bank building back in 1908. And this photo here shows what it looks like in modern times, or what's left of it at least. There's also this image that shows a panoramic shot of the Montgomery Shoshone mine back in 1907. It's crazy to see how such a prosperous town can seemingly go abandoned overnight.
If you enjoyed the video, check out Dynamite TV for more crazy content like this.
Number 7. Cody, Wyoming. If you're looking to explore some history in the least populated state in the US, make sure to come to Cody, Wyoming. This old western ghost town has a collection of artifacts and wooden buildings that look the same way they did over 120 years ago. Located right near Yellowstone, it's become a popular place for tourists to check out before hiking. For such a small town, it housed some legendary visitors such as Kid Curry and the Sundance Kid, Bush Cassidy, and also Buffalo Bill. This town was ran by outlaws and desperados for a decent period of time, since it made for a strategic location to rob bank wagons going through the Oregon Trail. Today, visitors can still see the skeletons of wagons in saloons from the Wild Wild West. Some of the buildings are still decorated with skeletons of hunted animals. Number 6. New Ariya, California. This tourist attraction is actually closed to the public, and there's a good reason for this. This is because it's highly contaminated to the point where it's almost too dangerous to clean up. There's also a stream that's a bright orange and corrosive as battery acid flowing around here. It's believed that it contains mercury, aluminum, iron, and nickel. The toxic ghost town, near the stream in San Benito County, California, is named after the New Ariya mercury mine. The town was settled in 1854 when pioneers began coming across cinnabar, gold, and mercury. Discovery of mercury was important for gold mining, and this happened during a time when gold mining was sweeping through Northern California. The mercury is used to extract gold from gold ore and results in a much purer gold. It became an important mining location up until the mine closed in 1972, and people began to realize how toxic mercury truly was. Elevated levels of mercury were found in the city's water supply, and not only that, but the nearby hills have also been found with asbestos, making this place toxic on many different levels. Number 5. Thurmond, West Virginia. Once a thriving center of coal mining in West Virginia, Thurmond was a prosperous place of commerce and business along the Ohio Railway. It popped up in the 1880s in the center of the state and consisted of popular hotels, casinos, banks, and schools. It was a fairly well-organized city with strict laws on drinking. In 1888, a rail station was built which allowed for tourism in the area and also to carry the coal out of the hills. The population reached a peak of 462 people in 1930, but experienced a downfall which would occur not too long after. A popular hotel was burned to the ground, which startled much of the population, and would eventually reach the number 0 in 2000. You can see the contrast between the cities built out in the west and the east during this time. There was much more technological advancements, and the addition of coal to a city at this period of time would allow them to heat their homes. Surprisingly, the city hasn't received too many vandals, and much of its past is preserved. Number 4. The Salton Sea. Gallons of water were sent gushing into a dry lake bed after a storm caused an irrigation canal to flood and break in the Colorado River. So the Salton Sea is basically lucky to exist in that sense. A resort town was built near this body of water, which became a popular location for boating. Many people once flocked here to soak up the sun, go jet skiing, and drive around fancy yachts in the booming 1950s and 60s. Stars like the Beach Boys and Bono would even come to this lake, right in the heart of the California desert. It's now probably the last place you want to go on during vacation unless you enjoy putrid odors of rotting fish. Not all good things last forever, and this place quickly turned into an ecological nightmare due to the pesticides and fertilizers from nearby farms and the irrigation system. It's seen as one of California's biggest environmental blunders of all time. It's becoming far too polluted to even sustain life for fish. The inhabitants quickly fled once the smell of the water became unbearable. To this day, dead fish litter the once popular beach, leaving a rotten egg-like smell that would be enough to scare off any urban explorer. The size of the lake continues to shrink even in 2017, and the smell of rotting fish will continue to get worse. Number 3. St. Elmo, Colorado. Don't forget the Rocky Mountains also have their fair share of gold as well, and where there was once gold, there are also abandoned towns. This place is located in the Sawatch Mountains and features well-preserved wooden buildings from the 1880s after the gold and silver mines sprung up. The town had a general store, a town hall, 5 hotels, dancing halls, and saloons during its peak around the 1890s. The resources were mined and not much else was left over. The railroad was closed to keep anyone from coming here. Some residents seemed to stay until 1952 when the postal service was cut off. If you don't mind a high elevation at 9,961 feet, this might be an enjoyable place to visit. It's also our ghost town with the highest elevation on this list. Number 2. Virginia City, Nevada. Virginia City grew quickly in the 1850s and 60s after the huge discovery of the Comstock Lode, which was a major silver deposit in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Check out the entire well-preserved ghost town of Virginia City, which is also rumored to be one of the most haunted places in the US on Google Maps. Despite some of the modern-day vehicles, this place is exactly the way it was 100 years ago. Some ghost towns are quite accessible on Google Maps, by the way, and this one here is more detailed than other ones we're able to find. Ignore the motorcycles and get a good feel for this historic site. Be sure to drop into the Silver Terrace Cemetery for a creepy flash from the past. But first, a few honorable mentions. Catawba, which was the first state capital of Alabama, it got consumed by a flood. Tombstone, Arizona, which is a spooky ghost town which is famous for its OK Corral shootout. and Pitcher, Oklahoma, where residents received lead poisoning and is now a toxic abandoned place. And number 1, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Located in mid-eastern Pennsylvania, Centralia began to grow when coal was discovered in the hills. A railroad was quickly constructed in 1854. They started planning on building streets and homes to house the residents not long after. But the same thing that brought people to Centralia would ultimately be the cause for its downfall. It was a bustling little town in the 1950s with plenty of happy residents and a safe place to live. The town once had over 3,000 people, and it's now a ghost town. The coal mine caught on fire, and underneath the town, a raging inferno would force people to leave their homes. Strangely enough, the coal fire is still burning even 40 years later. People believe that the coal fire could burn for as long as 254 more years. The underground fire has ripped open the streets like you see here from the pressure below. Even on cold days, you can still see the smoke rising from the ground at this ghost town.